At 7 a.m., most of mid-Missouri will be dry, but by 9 a.m., it could be a completely different story. Lines of equal pressure, or isobars as we call them, and when they get very close together like this, that's a signal to us as forecasters that we could see some strong winds. Brand new month, but weather-wise, nothing has changed. We have the potential for strong to severe storms. This yellow area means that we have a 15% chance of seeing a strong to severe warned storm on Tuesday. That's 7 days in advance.
So that's why even if tornado sirens are not technically going off, but if you look and you see your house where you are is in that warning polygon, you got to take shelter.
This is an active area. There is tornado damage. We don't know how much, but it looks like some people are in need of help, so I'm gonna go help them. We already have our eyes on something that is brewing in the Gulf of Mexico. We have blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories stretched across the northern plains. This car has been sitting out in the parking lot during the freezing drizzle, and I can't even get the ice off the windshield. But when we think about it, much of the Midwest is colder than Alaska this morning.
And we are talking about river flooding, so it's not flash flooding in the sense that water is going to be rushing and filling into places quickly, but it's going to be that gradual flooding that might not go away because guess what? More rain is going to fall on top of that flooding.
This is the day where you are going to want to monitor the forecast maybe a little more than you usually do. I just saw a plow truck get towed away. So if that is not any indication to what we're dealing with here, I don't know what is. But zooming in closer to home, I'm keeping my eye on this one band of showers that developed ahead of that initial front line.
When I go to school visits, I always try to communicate this, is that a tornado comes from a rotating thunderstorm cloud to the ground. That's how it goes. It doesn't go the other way up.
We sent Elyse Smith outside at 5 o'clock to see if the heat would wilt her. It did not, so we thought we'd do it again.
Let's try it again.
How is it, Elyse?
Hey, Kermit, I found some shade as the sun is setting, so that's the good news here. But yes, you can feel the heat and humidity even in the shade, and of course the strong winds that we are also going to see again today.
Thank you for that slice of knowledge.
Yes.
Yes, many numbers. She could just be reading it on and on.
3.141592653589793233846264.
We'll be back. Our time is 4:55.
Elyse Smith is your authority on the weather.
With the dry, mild temperatures and sunshine we're going to see for the rest of the afternoon, today really is the perfect day to take care of your lawn, maybe cut the grass, do some yard work, since maybe that rain and cloud cover and cooler temperatures this week might have prevented you from doing so. And especially since we do have more rain in the forecast, not only for tomorrow, but at quick glance also into the next work week. And today we'll see that strong northerly breeze. Tomorrow that breeze will be even stronger. Out of the south though, at about 10 to 15 miles per hour with wind gusts up to 35. So that trash can wind meter for tomorrow marked at a 2. And that's all with this next weather system that is developing right now. A low pressure system will move in from the northwest. It will bring a lifting warm front, and with that warm front, that is our rainmaker and potential storm maker for tomorrow morning. The trailing cold front will move through later on in the day, and it will give us the chance for a spot shower, but more so open the door to this high pressure system, giving us a cooler end to the weekend. So here's Futurecast to time out those showers. Clouds will build overnight. Can't rule out a spot shower before sunrise tomorrow, but the main event arrives through the morning. There's that warm front tracking from west to east, with it showers, potentially a storm or two. Then we're going to see some dry time tomorrow afternoon and some sunshine before the cold front of that weather system sweeps through, and it's not a very strong one in the sense of that rain, at least for us. It picks up steam once it moves further to the east, and then clouds will filter in after that for a little bit of a cloudy Sunday. But after the rain tomorrow morning, it is going to warm up. We'll be in the lower 70s. Then we're cooling down with that cold front for Sunday. Sunday morning, watch out, because it'll be near 40 degrees, potentially in the upper 30s. And then we're only making it into the mid 60s for Sunday. Today, though, it's a sunny day, seasonal temperatures, a little bit of a stronger northerly breeze with high temperatures reaching the upper 60s. Then for tonight, cooling down to near 50, and as clouds build, we'll see that rain return for tomorrow morning. Again, could see a couple of storms too, but not bad temperature-wise. We'll be in the lower 70s. Then for Sunday, a little bit cooler with mild and warm weather, staying put for next week with a few more chances for rain. And when we think about what's contributed to shaping our local history, we think of people, places, and technology. But weather can have more of a role on that history than you might think. I got a unique look on how the weather impacted the operation of the Missouri State Penitentiary in this special report. It's known as the bloodiest 47 acres in America, one of the largest prisons west of the Mississippi. Once home to 4,900 inmates, the Missouri State Penitentiary has weathered mid-Missouri's hot summers, bitter winters, and severe storms. Michael Gruss served as the final warden here for 32 years. Now he's a tour guide, walking the same cell blocks he did until 2004.
In the early days, there were simply no utilities. There was no air conditioning, there was no electricity, and there was no plumbing, there was no heat systems, and so they were really subject to the conditions of living almost outdoors.
Gruss explained that the rock the housing is made of provided no relief from the changing conditions. On a sunny summer day, in a building like this, you physically need something to separate the warmer and the cooler air. And that was sunlight. Sunlight shining through the eastern windows and the western windows, heating up the air, allowing warmer air to rise and cooler air to sink. But there was a way for inmates to control the temperature of their cells by using paint to make temporary heat curtains.
If you had a window in your cell that was facing the west, for example, you would paint that window in the summer so that the sun didn't shine in and heat up your cell. And then what they would do is scrape the same paint off in the fall and let that afternoon sun come in and heat their cells.
Though the summer heat was unbearable at times, it was not potentially deadly like the winter months. The then inmates worked hard building the prison in those conditions.
There had to be weather-related deaths to the winter when they're not able to warm up. These people worked in a rock quarry building this penitentiary, and say it's January and 15 degrees outside and they work several hours in the cold, if that were you coming home, you would go into the nearest heat register or heat source. They had none here.
But as time went on, more modern accommodations were introduced to help those living inside.
We built our own ice plant here, and we let them have almost an unlimited supply of ice. In each housing unit, we have a couple ice machines like this, and then we ran a route several times a day to make sure these were kept full of ice all the time. So every inmate in the prison during weather like this that's just almost unbearable without any kind of air conditioning or air movement, they were able to at least have all the ice that they wanted.
And while we were able to learn about the impacts of the heat and the cold for daily life, we couldn't leave without asking Michael one last question. So did the Missouri State Penitentiary have a severe weather plan?
Well, we have a lot of different configurations for prisons around the state. In this particular case, these are 1800s buildings built out of huge stone blocks. It'd take a tank to knock one of them down. So our weather plan basically is to stay in the housing units.
And with that, Gruss says the penitentiary will be able to weather the storm for years to come. In Jefferson City, meteorologist Elyse Smith, KRCG 13.